Okay, so let's talk about one lie that Trump has been telling. I know he tells a million of them before breakfast, but this actually was something that appeared in my comments. Of course, obviously, if you're a Trump supporter, you're going to swallow all these lies, hook, line, and sinker. And this video is not going to persuade them that they were taken in. Because at this point, if you've heard everything that Trump has done and said, and you're still for him, there's no reasoning you out of it. But anyway, this particular lie. Trump lies about volleyball player hurt badly by trans opponent. And he also claimed that he could ban trans athletes from women's sports, which he can't. But, he thinks that being president is akin to being a king, so he could just, with a wave of his hand, decree whatever he wants. But let's get to the article. In an appearance at a Fox Town Hall event hosted by Fox News host Harris Faulkner on Wednesday, aka the token black person on Fox, former President Donald Trump falsely claimed he could ban transgender women from playing women's sports in the U.S., and an authority he wouldn't have as president. You just ban it. The president bans it. You just don't let it happen, Trump said in response to an audience member's question about trans athletes in women's sports. Not a big deal. The exchange included another false claim when Trump railed against a member of the San Jose State Spartans volleyball team. The team member appeared in a video of the team's match last Thursday. The video has since been widely circulated in far-right media. Last month, a Spartan team member was outed as transgender by the team's co-captain. Not cool. Brooke Slusser, who joined former athletes in a Georgia lawsuit seeking to overturn NCAA guidelines allowing trans female athletes to participate in women's college sports. Slusser named her teammate in the suit. Again, not cool. You don't out people. You just don't. The video shows the player that Slusser outed spiking a ball. The ball hits an opposing player from San Diego State University in the shoulder, briefly knocking her down. Trump ran with it. Yes, and in the comments that I've seen, people are claiming that she was given a concussion. I'm sorry, you don't get a concussion from being hit in the shoulder. And that's ignoring the fact that if you get hit in the head with a spike, you're probably going to get a concussion whether the person is trans or not. Because these people are extremely strong. I mean, I just don't understand why this is so hard for people to understand that women athletes are really strong. I remember seeing a bunch of for the Wisconsin Badgers, they would high-five their coach, volleyball players. They would high-five their coach. And after it, he's doing this because they high-fived him so hard. Because they don't realize they're hitting him as hard as they are. Because they're just that strong. Anyway. Moving on. I saw the slam. It was a slam. I never saw a ball hit the girl in the head. Trump lied. Again, it was the shoulder, not the head. But other people, even in volleyball, they've been hurt, really hurt badly. Women playing men. Again, you can get hurt in volleyball without biological males being involved in women's sports. I remember Actually, this was my I guess you could call it cross to bear. Whenever I walked across a volleyball field, because in gym class there would be rows of volleyball games going on, and I would be walking past, and invariably I would get hit in the freaking head. And I'm sure I can hear a lot of people say, "Oh, that explains a lot." But I would get hit in the head every freaking time. So I would always try to avoid going anywhere close to a volleyball match in progress anyway. So, and these were girls. These were high school girls. It wasn't even men because gym class is segregated. Or at least the activities were. So, yeah, it was just girls. And it hit me in the head and it freaking hurt. So, and none of them were even remotely trans. So, all right. And then, of course, as I've mentioned before, there's that trans man wrestler who was forced in, I think it was Kansas, to wrestle girls because the state law said that trans people needed to play sports in the category that matches their biological sex. So he was forced to wrestle girls, and of course he was much bigger and stronger than them. I don't know what people were expecting. It's like people seem to think that they have this idea in their heads what it means to be trans, especially a trans woman, and the thought that they don't look like you think never dawns on them. But anyway, moving on. Trump claimed again he would ban trans women in sports by an authoritative order. Does he mean an executive order? Oh wait, he wants to be an authoritarian, so maybe he did mean authoritative. But you don't have to do the volleyball. We stop it. We absolutely stop it. You can't have it, he said. But you don't have to do the volleyball even mean? Okay. San Diego State disputed Trump's fabrication of their players' action in a statement later that day. This did not happen, SDSU Director of Athletic Communications Jamie McConaughey said in a statement reported by the San Francisco Chronicle. The ball hit her in the shoulder. She was uninjured and did not miss a play. But facts have never gotten in the way for Trump and apparently Trump supporters. McConaughey added that San Diego State has called for multiple corrections from media outlets. Trump didn't elaborate on the authority he thinks he'd have to change the rule in sports, which are governed by numerous local, national, and international bodies. He would have absolutely no authority or power to ban transgender women in college sports. That is not legal. That is not a legal possibility. Shannon Minter, legal director for the National Center for Lesbian Rights, told the Chronicle. The player Trump lied about hasn't commented publicly. Her school condemned the former president for using her as a political pawn. As well they should. I mean, come on. Just because some people are assholes, it's good to see that the school is backing her up. At San Jose State, we condemn any targeted campaign against any of our students, and we will continue to live the values outlined in the California State University non-discrimination policy, the school said in a statement Wednesday afternoon. Our athletes all comply with NCAA and Mountain West Conference policies, and they are eligible to play under the rules of those organizations. And that's the other thing. And that's why I don't wade too deeply into whether trans women should play women's sports. Because I don't have all the information. I haven't seen all the studies. I just know what other trans people have said. I would like to think that these organizations do look at the science before making a determination. So that should be where this ends, with the organizations that are involved in regulating a sport. Trump has stoked fear and loathing of the transgender community in his bid to reclaim the White House. His campaign, political action committees, and other MAGA Republican candidates and groups have spent tens of millions of dollars on television ads targeting trans people in an effort to get their fan right base to the polls. Far right base. Got it. I knew that there was something I was saying wrong. Banning trans women in sports has been a particular focus. Since Slusser was publicly outed, her teammate, 4 women's volleyball teams have forfeited matches against San Jose State, including Southern Utah, Boise State, Wyoming, and Utah State. On Monday, players of the University of Nevada's women's volleyball team unilaterally announced they wouldn't face San Jose State in an upcoming match. Jesus Christ. Actually, I don't know which school it was, but at least one of the forfeits, the school turned on the team, so. We, the University of Nevada, Reno women's volleyball team, forfeit against San Jose State University, they said in a statement shared with the awkwardly named conservative sports site Outkick. The university said that despite the protests, the match would be played as scheduled, while individual players would be granted the opportunity to sit out. San Jose State's coach, Todd Kress, said the fallout over his co-captain's actions had been hard on the team. Concentrating on what we can do on the court has quite frankly, been very tough lately, Kress said. There have been outside forces who have sought to divide our team, our university, our conference, and our sport. He added, I just have faith that we'll eventually be able to put the outside noise aside and be able to play for each other and find love for one another again. I feel really bad for that trans girl that was outed because, for one thing, knowing that your teammates absolutely hate you and think that you do not have a right to play a sport that you love simply because they don't understand how biology works. I mean, you see this woman play every day. Why are you all of a sudden freaking out that she's trans? Did you only just find out? Maybe. Maybe they didn't know, but you still have seen her play. You do know that she does not have an advantage over other women, so I fail to see why you're bringing this suit. But I feel bad for that woman. And now, is it just the co-captain or is it the entire team that did the lawsuit? Let me see. Okay, so it's the co-captain with former athletes. So, I don't know. I mean, it's great that he's trying to bring the team together. But if your co-captain is going to do that to a fellow player, I would kick her off the damn team. I mean, you don't do that to someone. I mean, that just says the hate that she has for this teammate. I mean, I don't know why. as I said, she's seen her play. I'm pretty sure she does not play any differently than any other woman on the team. Maybe she does play better than other people on her team. Every team has a standout player. I don't know how well this trans woman plays. That's not the point. The point is, if she is following the guidelines and not just because she happens to be trans, but if there are guidelines in place, and I know that at the college level that there is testing going on. So, and I've mentioned before that there are limits, that there are ranges of things like testosterone. So you know that she's not more advantaged than anyone else. So what is your problem except for abject hate, unbridled hate, that is just this irrational hate that I just don't know. But this should be grounds for being kicked off the team. And I hope that the trans girl and the rest of the team, that they'll, play the game just like they would, but that outside of the game, they ghost her. They just don't have any contact with her, that she is not a part of the team except on game day. Simply because that's not cool. You do not treat another player like that. First, you discuss your concerns with your coach. And if the coach says that there is nothing in her testing that shows that she has an unfair advantage, that should be the end of it. Not, let's just, seek a lawsuit when there's very few trans people in sports anyway. And again, if there's nothing obvious, inherently unfair with her playing, I just don't see why you would be such a dick and do that. Anyway, and as far as I saw the slam, it was a slam. I never saw a ball hit so hard. That just says he's never seen volleyball in his entire fucking life. So, I wouldn't believe a word he says. Not that I would have anyway. Because Trump is Trump. So anyway. So yeah, for those who have swallowed that story, hook, line, and sinker, it's not true. There was no concussion. Nobody got hurt. It was just a hard volleyball play. Because that's what volleyball does. You might get hit with the ball and it might knock you down because those girls hit hard. Again, you don't have to be trans. You don't have to be a trans woman to hit the ball hard. These girls are very strong and they hit the ball hard. So, girls have gotten injured in volleyball because shit happens. Again, it has nothing to do with the player across from them being trans. It's just the way volleyball is. It's the way any sport is. And it says a lot for the people who are having a problem with this about what they think women's sport should be. And that is these dainty little hits that barely make it over the net because, women aren't supposed to be strong or something. So yeah, it's just very frustrating that this is one of the many lies that has gotten out that people are attaching themselves to because they so desperately want to think that trans women are somehow cheaters, or that they're trying to trick people, or whatever the hell it is that you think trans people are trying to do. So anyway, and again, it's hardly ever about trans men in sports. Because unless the trans men are playing against women, because of some kooky law that insists they must play a sport in that matches their biological sex, nobody hears about trans men. Nobody whines that trans men are in men's sports. Why? Because it's assumed that trans men aren't as strong as cis men because puberty or something, or they don't understand how testosterone works. I'm not sure what the deal is, but for some reason, that's rarely mentioned, if ever. So anyway, that is all I have for this video. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one.